1 minute, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute of counting. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Let's roll it out. Take it out nice and easy. Let's get those legs moving. Yeah. Let's knock off any rust, any stiffness. Everybody's fired up from watching the racing this weekend. Don't let that get the most of you. Let's just be patient. Build into this one. This one's all about building. Big build all the way. We got a 33-minute build, followed by 11-minute build. So be patient. Get the legs working. Those feet ticking over. Focus on your technique right from the start. A lot of great racing this past weekend. Solid performances. Probably had 25 athletes race this weekend. Not one of them told me that they had a cramping issue or a injury or something that took away from their experience because they were moving in the wrong way. Always mindful, always moving correctly. Sure, there was some hiccups along the way for this reason or that, but no cramps, no strained muscles, twisted ankles, pulled hamstrings halfway through the run. So pretty amazing with that many athletes and everybody's racing quote unquote healthy. It's nice and light on your feet. Let that cadence come up slightly as you progress. Got a 5-minute easy build here. Back it down 2 minutes, and then we'll get into the main set right away. But we built some warm up into the main set because we started a pretty low percentage of effort. So but as we do it this time of year, we're going to work on a lot of different skills throughout this workout. High cadence, low cadence, climbing, TT position, sitting up. So get ready for all of it. As you look at a race like Sacramento, which happened on Sunday, we'll talk about this on the 2 p.m. call. Some unexpected rain and wind. Had to pull all those tools out of the toolbox when the going got tough. Physical and mental. And the reason that our people could do it is because we do it here time and time again. It's a way to commit to the process, guys. Amazing stuff. All right, focus on driving your knees. Relax that lower leg. Nice and light on your pedals. No mashing. Even at our lower cadence we work on later, we want to make sure we're never mashing. Keep a nice, smooth, efficient pedal stroke. Smooth circles by keeping that ankle relaxed. Wiggle your toes. Release your calf. Drive the knees down. Float the knee up in the back. There's no reinventing the wheel. You guys see what worked this weekend? Athletes fueling properly, knowing their pacing, having trained at all different intensities, cadence ranges. Get all this noise online. It's especially easy to access. Everybody thinks they have a voice and they have the magic bullet. Fueling for fat, zone 1 training. All high cadence, all low cadence. Everybody's got their different take. And we see in the results of last weekend and weekend after weekend, 2-1, back it down, nice and easy. What works is what's always worked. Solid carbohydrate intake, being able to pull out different intensities throughout the day when needed. Mental fitness, as well as physical. A lot of these workouts, sure, we push you guys beyond your physical limit. But what that does, it trains your mind to persevere through the adversity. Huh? Right, Emily? That's what we're doing. Not only teach you guys physically to deal with that uncomfortableness, but mentally. So when you're out on mile 16, and you're hopping through the streets of Sacramento like a dingo in the outback, am I right, Cody? You get through that. You mentally persevere. And that this just doesn't come to you. It happens through training. Session after session after session. So sure, we could go train zone 2 work nonstop, like a lot of these new age coaches call the Norwegian method. But you're not challenging yourself physically. You're not learning to deal with adversity mentally. All right, so we're gonna go into a build here. It's 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes, we're gonna come up 3%. So we start at 70%. 3 minutes in, we go up to 73%. So on and so forth, all the way up the threshold. We're gonna start with our cadence low. 60 to 70. Bring that cadence down. 3, 2, 1. Bring your cadence down. 70% effort. Cadence low, guys. Come on. Turn those glutes on from the start. Make sure your knees are driving down, floating up. There's no wobble in or wobble out. Your weight's back on the saddle. Upper body's relaxed. As your knee drives down, drop your heel. All these things to reinforce that glute engagement. Move into November, it's going to be mandatory you guys do glute engagement work before you get on the bike. Something we should be doing daily is putting that mini band around our knees, right above our knees, and knocking out some clamshells and sidewalks. We need to teach those glutes to be the first muscle to turn on and stay turned on throughout the efforts. You guys start seeing that in your schedule. Glute activation, 10 minutes prior to getting on the bike. We do our glute activation work. That the way those things are ready to fire when we start getting into it. So once again, knees straight up and down like pistons of an engine. We don't let them knock in, because then you get too much stress in the piriformis, the adductors, the IT band, but we don't let them bow out. For the same reason, straight up and down like pistons, so we really access those glutes. And we want to weight back in the saddle over the bottom bracket. Good drill you can do to reinforce that is sit up, melt into the saddle, and then come back into your riding position with that same weight distribution back over the saddle. And then drop your heel as that knee drives down. Come up to 73%. 3, 2, let's start bringing our cadence up. Keeping those same focus points. Slowly build that cadence up into the 85 to 95 range. Very light pressure between the bottom of your foot and the insole of your shoe. You feel a ton of pressure in that shoe. That means you're stomping. You're trying to generate power with that foot, calf, which is what leads to calf cramps, Achilles injuries, plantar issues. Going to be nice and light in your shoes. Driving the momentum with the knees. It's the kind of stuff when the going gets tough, where we got to put our focus on the process. We dial into how we're moving and engaging the correct muscles, not letting those compensating muscles turn on. Cadence should be up in the high 80s, low 90s. Remember, we're only 12 minutes in. So you don't feel great. That's all right. Stick with it. You'll loosen up. Look at that left knee. Make sure it's not wobbling. There's a plumb line. All my carpenters know what a plumb line is. Going from your knee to the floor, it'd be straight down. Watch your right knee, same thing. Google plumb line if you don't know. 2, 1, 76%. Cadence 75 to 85. Now we're more of our race pace cadence. You can work into that TT position if you're on your TT bike. Had a few conversations with some first-time Ironman, first-time Kona finishers over the last couple of weeks. They said, I had a great race. I felt awesome, but I think it could have went harder. And remember, this is first-time finishers. Problem with Ironman is it's a very fine line. And it takes practice and it takes experience to know what that fine line is. And these are athletes who had very respectable fast times saying this. Ironman's not about holding that top end. It's about relying on the resiliency, holding a strong effort from beginning to end. So sure, they might have been able to go a little harder, but what would that have done to their run? We don't know. We can practice at a little higher power output, go into the next one with a little more aggressive goals. But especially for the first Ironman, we need to make sure that we have a great experience and cross that finish line feeling great, or feeling as great as you can after an Ironman. It's all about learning, experience, knowing your ability levels, and going out there and executing your specific race. But it's so important we debrief afterwards. We do a post-race analysis. Go over with your coach. What can we learn? We don't get an opportunity to race every weekend. 3, 2, 1, 79%. Bring that cadence down. Cadence 60 to 70. Baseball team gets to play 5, 6 nights a week. They screw up one night, they have the next night to try something new. We don't have that luxury. We race one Ironman a year, maybe 2. One half Ironman a year, maybe 2. We got to learn as much as we can from our experience on course. And remember that by doing a post-race debrief. Taking in all that information and learning from it. So our cadence is low. Back to that glute engagement. Wiggle your toes, release your calf. Relax your ankle. Very light in your shoes. We got to do our homework. Like Leslie's talking about, the weather is going to be at the marathon. Heat's going to kick in. She's got to be better prepared with electrolytes. You look at Jacqueline's stories from the weekend. She knew there's a possibility it's going to be cold. She was prepared with clothes. Got to anticipate the conditions and adapt accordingly. Boy Scout motto, be prepared. All right, let's go up. 82%. Cadence, slowly bring it up. Drive your knees. Relax your lower leg. You guys should be working in and out of that TT position. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Watch your right knee. Make sure it's not wobbling in or out. Dialed in, straight up and down. We have a lot of athletes racing Indian Wells. Of course, like Indian Wells, 56 miles of flat. You start to compensate. Use those little muscles, adductor, piriformis, outside your quad, your IT band. It's so repetitive with no hills. You compensate with those smaller muscles, pedal stroke after pedal stroke. You're going to feel that cramping on the run. Because, of course, like Oceanside, up and down, it forces you to move that stress around. Sit up occasionally. Get a reprieve on the downhills. You don't get that at Indian Wells. We really have to stay tuned in to pedaling correctly, efficiently, and you using those big glute muscles to drive us forward. Rarely anyone says my glute cramped. Right, Chris? You don't hear that. Eli? Oh, my glute cramped. You don't hear that. You hear IT band, adductor, hamstring, calf, all these smaller muscles. %, 3, 2, 1. Cadence 75 to 85. We keep coming back to our check-in points as to how to keep those glutes engaged. Knees, straight up and down. Watch your left knee for 30 pedal strokes. Count to yourself, left knee straight up and down. Let's go. Over the right knee. 30 pedal strokes. Straight up and down. Let's go. Good. Bounce back and forth. Left knee, right knee. No compensation. All right, focus on that weight back in the saddle. Over the bottom bracket. Everybody sit up. Hands on your base bar. Feel that weight. Hunker down in your saddle. Now go into your TT position. Keep that same weight in the saddle. Slow your cadence in 3, 2, 1. 88%. So move between the base bar and your TT position. Not letting that weight distribution move around as you do. Spend 5, 10, 15 seconds up. And then go down. All you're moving is your upper body. If you're on your road bike, go from base bar to drops. Nothing, the waist down changes. Every 15 seconds, change position. Change. Weight stays back. Cadence is low. Change your position. Weight stays back. Knees are still straight up and down. Change your position. Weight stays back. Change your position. Change. Change. Start bringing your cadence up. 2, 1, 91%. Light on your feet. Weight stays back. All right, as that left knee drives down, drop your left heel. Count to yourself. 50 pedal strokes on the left side. Drop your left heel. 2, 1, count, go. Over to the right side. Drop your right heel every time the right knee drives down. Count to yourself. 50 pedal strokes. Let's go. Good. Now together, left heel, right heel. Drop them as we pedal. Go. No pointing your toe. Get that heel down. %94. Cadence 75 to 85. 2, 1. Blow your feet slightly. Let's make sure that upper body's relaxed. Drop your shoulders. Release your jaw. Soften your elbows. Wiggle your fingers. Very little weight distribution over the front, whether you're on your TT bike or your road bike. The reason you watch a pro cyclist can drink champagne while he's riding because whenever he rides, there's very little pressure on the front end. It's all over the bottom bracket. So he can sit up. Even most of the steering is coming from the stability on the saddle. You want a little pressure on the front end. Cadence 75 to 85. Great, guys. We're looking good. Take it 1 minute at a time. Like Leslie, Alicia, getting in the marathon. Take it 1 mile at a time. Never looking beyond that. Yeah, Jordan's got a big race coming up too. That's ingrained in him. After being here every session for 3 years. Three and a half years. 97% coming up, guys. Stick with it. Come on. Fight for it. Start slowing your feet. Cadence 60 to 70. 3, 2, 1. Good. Find that nice low cadence. Work that muscular resiliency. At the top of every minute, we're going to stand for 15 seconds. When we stand, that weight stays back. Doesn't all of a sudden move to the front. 3, 2, stand up. Upper body's quiet. Cadence is low. Weights over the bottom bracket. Drop your heels. Knees straight up and down. 2, 1, back in the saddle. Real nice, guys. You guys look good on that standing. Keep the cadence down. We'll stand here again in 20 seconds. Make sure those ankles stay relaxed. I don't want you to stand up and the pedal strokes start clicking because you tense up the lower leg. Drive the knees. Relax the lower leg. 2, 1. You feel the saddle touch your grundle as you pedal. 2, 1, back in the saddle. We can sit up here. Stay with your hands on the base bar. We're climbing. We're going to push over the top and get up the speed here for our last 3-minute effort. Physical uncomfortableness, mental. Persevere. 3, 2, out of the saddle, cadence up. Try to keep the cadence in the 80s. Watch your left knee. 40 pedal strokes, straight up and down. Go. Watch your right knee. 40 pedal strokes, straight up and down. Let's go. Everybody on the base bar. Weight back in the saddle. Weight stays back in the saddle. Change positions. Back on the base bar. Left heel, drop it down. As the knee drives down. Right heel, same thing. Let it drop. Three, two, one, spin it out. 4 minutes easy. That's solid. You want to turn ERG off and spin a little easier, do it. Amazing perseverance, guys. That's why we're making the gains and we're having the success on course that we are. Both from a performance standpoint, but more importantly, an injury-free, feeling good standpoint. Stay tuned in to how we're moving every second of the way. So we have another build coming up, same thing, but each one's only a minute. Cadence stays the same with each minute, changing it up, low, high, race pace. We'll come up 3% once again, every 3 minutes. But now that we're fatigued, we've built up a good amount of stress. It's all that much more important we stay dialed into how we're moving. We don't compensate now. This is the last 20 miles of an Ironman, last 15 miles of a half. You just want it to be over. So your mind says, screw it. I'm just going to get to the finish. I don't care how I look. Just want to get there. Turn that off and tell yourself, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to look good. What we can't look at is 11 minutes or 11 miles. 11 1-minute efforts. Let's ride one effort to the next. So start with our cadence low, 70%. Just be patient, knowing the last couple minutes is where the rubber meets the road. Go through all of our check-in points. Stay focused on the process. We'll be at that finish line before we know it. We cannot look at it as 11 minutes. Let's take it one at a time. All right, here we go. Slow your feet, 70%. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, I like this internal competition. Alicia versus Jordan. Ooh, it's good. Okay, guys, cadence low. Bring it down. Come on. I'm telling you. Watching you guys race on the weekend. Hang on, what happened to my camera? Watching you guys race on the weekends, tough work. All right, 73%, cadence up, 2, 1. I feel like I did an Ironman. Anybody else feel like that? Kuno tells me she's tired. I'm doing Arizona 70.3. She's not nearly as tired as I am. You had one race. I had to watch like 25 people racing. Don't tell me you're tired. Cody's done 8 Ironmans this year. Don't tell me you're tired. I had to watch 25 people race this last weekend. It's tiring. Come on, guys, bring your cadence up. Let's go. %73. That Ironman race pace effort. Three, 2, 76%. Bring your cadence down a little bit. Cadence in the 80s, high 70s. Race pace cadence. Pay attention to our check-in points on your own without me reminding you. Knees, weight distribution, dropping your heels. Pay attention to how you're riding right now. Look at those check-in points without me having you focus on it and see if there's any compensation in there. See if there's anything you need to adjust as you fatigue. Three, 2, slow your feet. 79%, bring that cadence down. Come on, guys, bring it way down. Challenge that muscular system. Give your heart a little reprieve. Focus on those check-in points while keeping the upper body relaxed, breathing relaxed, and visualize yourself on course. Even if you have a marathon coming up, you can still visualize how it's going to feel when you hit the wall and how it takes ultimate concentration, breaking the wall down brick by brick to get through it. 2, 1, 82%. Let's build our cadence. Come on. Build the cadence up into the high 80s, low 90s. We're at our half Ironman race pace. Thereabout. All right, we're going to slow our feet slightly. High 70s, low 80s. 3, 2, 1. 85% effort. In and out of TT position, in and out of the drops. Weight stays back on the saddle as you move around. You don't have cadence on your bike. Every time that left knee drives down, count it out for 10 seconds. Let's go. Stop. Multiply it by 6. High 70s, low 80s. Slow your feet in 3, 2, 1. 88%. Getting in the Olympic distance race effort. Cadence down, guys. Come on. Go through those check-in points. Notice if you're compensating. Ten seconds. Start bringing your cadence up now. 5, 3, 2, 1. 85 to 95. 91%. Watch that left knee straight up and down. Watch your right knee, same thing. Let's bring our cadence 75 to 85. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We keep a minute at a time, guys. Don't look at the end yet. This is our mental strength. Focus, find your flow. Break it down into smaller chunks. Every time your left knee drives down, drop your left heel. 30 pedal strokes. Let's go. Slow your feet. 2, 1. Keep with that count. Go over to the right side. Every time your right knee drives down, drop your right heel. 30. Let's go. Cadence is low. Good. Left knee, right knee, drive them straight down, drop your heels. Bring your cadence up. 3, 2, 1. Come on, guys. 15 seconds at a time. Ride 15 to 15. Weight stays back in the saddle. Good. Keep the weight back. Knees straight up and down. Lower leg relaxed. Drop the heels. 3, 2, and spin it out. Amazing work, guys. How we persevere, we fight for it. Never say quit mentality. Stay focused on the process, break it up into smaller chunks. We get through a set. It's extremely daunting, just as an Ironman is. Or a half Ironman. We get through it. Race day comes. Just happens. Just revert to all of our tools and skills that we work on session after session after session. All right, so we have our 2 p.m. call today. You guys look, a lot of you on your schedule have Indian Wells race prep on the weekend on Sunday. It's a group ride. Something, and anybody's can join, not even if you're not racing Indian Wells. But with that race, we're going to use the next 6 weeks to ride the extremely flat course that we're on right now on Zwift. Get in our TT position, execute race pace effort, fueling on a course that doesn't provide much undulation, just as Indian Wells is going to do. So it's going to help us adapt to the stresses needed for race day. Like I said, everybody can join. The link is in your Training Peaks. I'll put a Zoom link in there too. So if you want to jump on Zoom and ride with your teammates. But I'll tell you guys the effort, and we'll have a building distance every week. So we can really get used to just putting out consistent effort in your TT position. Because a course like Indian Wells, you don't need to go outside and ride hills or mountains to prepare for it. Trainer is the best place because it's just a steady, consistent effort with no stopping. So look out for that in your Training Peaks. We could talk about that more at 2 p.m. Got a lot of learnings from the weekend I want to go over. Because like we said at the beginning of the ride, we don't get the luxury of racing 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes some of us only race 3 or 4 times a year, if that. So we have to learn from our own experiences, but we have to learn from the experiences of others and educate ourselves on their successes and their failures so we can go into our race with as much knowledge and tools that we know what to pull out when we need it. So come on that 2 p.m. call. If you can't join, I'll put the link up shortly afterwards. If you don't have the link or you can't find it, text me or email me. I'll send it to you. But it should be in your Training Peaks shortly after the 2 p.m. call. And then on the podcast, we have a swim scientist on today, 3:15. So that should be a ball of fun, as it always is. So a lot of good education, a lot of good info to learn from, guys. The whole goal and what your coaches are doing here is to not only give yourself friends and teammates to be accountable to and have a good time with as we train, push each other to the next level, but to create this big information database that we can use to better our performances session after session after session. It's like, I was never in a fraternity, but I hear there's a room that has all the prior tests and exams from previous years for the teachers or the professors. So you go in that room, you take out an exam, you know what's coming up. This is our room. All the knowledge we build is that room. We want to take that room, take Kuno's little exam that she did at Ironman Arizona, read through it. Oh, she did this right. She did this wrong. I want to make sure I do that. I want to make sure I don't do that. learn from it so you go in the race day with all the knowledge we can. So this is our fraternity / sorority, and there will be hazing. There will be hazing. This is not a haze-free environment, right, Chris? We will haze. Yeah, Lori. Lori, you don't like that. All right, guys. We'll see you at 2 p.m. Love you. Amazing work. It's not an easy session. See you guys. Thanks. Love you. Bye.